I drive my car up to the lake as if there's someone to awake. I haven't been to bed for days, I live in a twilight haze. And I set my heart to the setting sun, and I hope that no one else has done it. And the drinks are never far, open up the bar. I miss you every single day. I wait until I start your way. I hate the way I'm straight.
So some of those packets will only kind of download stuff. They don't seem to charge up devices. So it's cool. Alrighty, Matt. Well, hey, how's things this beautiful morning?
Yeah, things are well. Things are good.
Cool, man. Thanks for coming along.
Nice to be here.
Great. Dig the gig. That's why you're here.
Yeah, cool.
I've had a good browse through it all. And look, just take us all the way back. How did this thing begin? Because I think there's going to be a bit of a story to it. Because, it's a cool idea.
Yeah, well, dig the gig. It kicked off in 2021 here in the Garden City. I'd actually been living in Auckland for a while, and I'd come back to Christchurch.
Yeah, are you local?
Yeah, local,
born and bred?
Yeah, I was born and bred here, and then left when I was about 17, and did a bit of travelling, and anyway, and then came back, and then went away again, and anyway, I had 18 very colourful years in Auckland, and my wife and I and two girls came back in 2018, and I've played music all my life, so when I got back to Christchurch, I was wondering, what the bands are up to and where the venues are, and clearly, obviously, with what happened with the earthquakes,
post-quake, yep,
a lot of our amazing venues got wiped out. Mm-hmm. Back in the 90s, Christchurch was a bit of a bar band town, and if you're in a band, you could play sort of from Tuesday to Saturday night, and it was pretty exciting times. Obviously, that changed. Anyway, so when I got back about 2018, I was really wondering where the bands were playing, what was going on, and then I sort of got thinking about the student bands, and I was wondering, what are they up to across New Zealand? Why aren't we exposing and uncovering these kind of amazing bands? So it got me on. I sort of went down this track, and at the time I was doing a little bit of stuff with the University of Canterbury, and I got chatting to a couple of people, and anyway, one night we were sitting around the table, and my wife came up with the name Dig the Gig. We set up a website. I put up a couple of posters at the University of Canterbury, and then 3 weeks later we had 19 bands that registered. So that's how it kind of happened. Yeah.
Wow. So they were hungry for it. Like, do you reckon that's a pretty good response, yeah?
That's right. Yeah, well, we weren't really too sure. Yeah. Because no one had really fleshed out in a competition like that about how many bands there were. And, of course, every university in New Zealand have their own internal band comps. So I wanted mine to be a little bit different. Firstly, the competition wasn't going to be on campus. It was going to be in a bar in town that needed a little bit of love at the time. Ours was 2021.
Sweet.
We were still actually in COVID.
Yeah.
So that was part of the attraction for me, was to get bands out into a venue that they should know about but didn't. Which was cool. So I found a really cool venue in town that I'd been playing some gigs at sort of over 2019 and 2020, a place called the Rolling Stone with Mike and Gretchen. They were doing good things. So that seemed to me the perfect venue. And then the rest was really, as you say, down to the bands, and 19 registered, and we were like, wow, which sort of gave us 4 heats, a semi and a final. So that was how it all worked. A couple of posters went up around the campus. The university were great. They didn't charge me for putting up posters. They kind of supported it, which was good, because it does cost, funny enough, to put stuff up, and as you could imagine. So Cantor really got behind it, which was really cool. And the rest really was history. And we had our first gig in May, our first heat. I did it on a Wednesday night for some reason. I'm not sure why, because I thought, and it's winter too, of course. It started, early. It's always the first Wednesday in May. Yeah. had us winter, and we just did it on Wednesday, thinking we'd get people out on a Wednesday night to get the tills ringing in the Rolling Stone. So the first heat was great. It was back in 21. There was a few unique things with the competition. I wanted it to be slightly different, where I didn't want judges. I wanted to do something different, so I decided to have a decibel meter. So it was all about the fans, as opposed to, Dig the Gig really is about the fans. The bands obviously we need, but if you're a band, you need the fans. So that's what that was my USP, if you will.
Yeah.
It worked really well.
Yeah. No, you're right. That's exactly right. I mean, there's no use, because there was a stage where music went through this thing where they were manufacturing bands, kind of the pop bands and all of that type of thing, and I don't think it did a service to anyone.
No, that's right.
Like, being told what you like, this is what you need to eat,
that's
type
right.
of thing. So that's cool. It's given the power back to the, that grassroots kind of thing, and that's where the bands have been born and conceived.
That's right. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So it went really well. It was the first heat was great. And then it's every second week I did it, so to give me a bit of a breather in the weeks. And it worked really well. I got a couple of sponsors on board, and Sal's Pizza actually with the first.
Cool.
Nick from Sal's, he was amazing. They came on board. They gave me a little bit of cash to kick it off. They also gave us free pizzas at the start of every show, which was amazing. Got the students in to the Rolling Stone there, and it was really cool. It worked extremely well, and the first year was great. We got the first heat was a bit quiet. The second heat picked up. The third heat picked up. As soon as they sort of started to get their head around the concept, it really did start to sort of
And that was just solely Canterbury.
That's right. The first one was Dig the Gig, University of Canterbury. Yeah, that's right. I had no intentions to take it nationwide. That, of course, happened sort of 3 years down the track. But the first 3 years were in Christchurch here, and it was great. And it really, the bands cottoned onto it. They realised that, we need our fans. If we don't bring our fans in, they're not going to scream for us. And if we don't get that best decibel meter reading in our heat, we're not going to go through the semis, and we're not going to go to the finals. So that was how it worked. So.
And it's kind of, that's an educational thing, right? It sounds silly, but I can imagine, like, just me in business, there's the simplest things which I didn't realise for years, and like signage was one of them, and I've got a lovely espresso sign now. It seems so simple, and people always used to tell me, you got to tell people, Dave, that you sell coffee. And I was like, they'll figure it out. It's like kind of telling, the fans will find me type of thing. But, you got to go out there and, work at it.
You do.
And make things happen.
That's right. The phone certainly doesn't ring, and you got to get out there, and you got to take the mountain to Muhammad, as they say.
Cool.
Big time. So,
So, and then the other universities, did they get in touch with you and they were like, hey, we want to be a part of it? Or were you guys like, we want to...
No, not at all, really. And so the first year went really well, and it was great. And by the semi-finals, we had queues outside the door on Colombo Street.
Oh, wicked.
And then the final was the same, and I was thinking, well, we've got something really cool here.
Yeah.
But the most important thing was how incredible the bands were.
Yeah.
Amazing. In all sorts of different genres. It was just...
Who won that first year? Can you remember?
Yeah, I certainly can. Yeah, This Dog won the first year. They were a pretty cool band. They brought their crowd night after night. They got into the semis, they got through to the finals, and they pulled the final off. It was very close. A band that came second, actually, was Castaway, who are doing some pretty cool things in Christchurch at the moment. So that was the first year.
Yep.
It went really well, and the prizes, I had to make sure that was the key as well, making sure we created some prize packs that really, helped the bands out, on a bit of a worldwide stage as well, not just domestically. Yep. So in the first year, the band that won got a recording deal at the, they went and recorded a song, which was cool. They got a music video. I gave them some budget and helped activate that music video. And that was sort of, some quite good that was a good little prize in the first one. And nowadays, every band that makes the final goes into the studio. There's music video prizes on offer. There's some really cool slots at festivals.
Yeah.
We have some really good mentors that come on board now. And of course, now it's gone nationwide. We've opened it up to, we've created this brand new prize called the Californian Kiwi Connection Music Award, which back in 2022, Pool House won the comp and they won this trip to LA to play at the Whiskey A Go-Go. They've since just done that. A few nights ago, actually, they played at the Whiskey A Go-Go and had an emphatic gig, and it all went very well.
Yeah.
And now we've created that connection.
Yeah.
So for the first time this year, we're doing the nationwide grand final, where Dig the Gig Otago, Dig the Gig Auckland, Dig the Gig Wellington, Dig the Gig Christchurch, all the universities. We're having a one-off show here in Christchurch, and the 4 bands will go head-to-head, and the winner of that competition, the nationwide champ, will be crowned, the best Dig the Gig university band.
Yep.
They'll win the Californian Kiwi Connection Music Award, and they get flown to LA next year to play at the Whiskey A Go-Go. So we've made it an annual thing, which I think is really important too, because I was fortunate enough to travel when I was young with music, and it really does open up your world and your mind, and it's an amazing thing to do, and I wanted to create that opportunity for bands in New Zealand.
You've presumably got connections there, existing connections.
That's right.
In LA.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, and there's some great things going on there, and I wanted to sort of share that knowledge and open those colourful doors for these amazing bands. So, and it's been a long, slow ride, if you can imagine. But now we're nationwide. We went nationwide in 2023. We opened it up to Auckland and Wellington, and we've just launched Dig the Gig Otago this year, which has been amazing. 22 bands registered. The bands have been next level, very exciting. So it's nice to get them all together in October here in Christchurch. So which is cool.
Well, how many people can go along to fit in the Rolling Stone?
Yeah, well, the Rolling Stones, it's about 200, so it's quite nice, which is great. We've actually got the final of Dig the Gig UC next Wednesday night, which will be really cool. The 4 bands are pretty amazing: Red Weekend, Big Angry, By Tomorrow, and goodness me, Honey for Jupiter.
Cool.
Yeah, they're in there. That's next Wednesday night, which will be pretty cool. And then we have...
Wow, so you're sticking to the Wednesdays.
We've stuck to the Wednesday.
Cool.
Yeah,
it's weird, eh?
Yeah.
Random stuff like that, like this podcast, 5:30 in the morning, it's kind of like, then it becomes a thing.
That's right.
And it's like, haha.
Yeah, and you just do it.
Those, what are they? They're kind of like almost, to begin with, they can be perceived as kind of negative things or something. And then all of a sudden you realise, no, where the adversity is, that's where the creativity flourishes and all that type of thing happens.
That's right, yeah.
So it's cool that you stuck to Wednesdays.
Yeah, well, it's nice. You got to, like anything, you put a line in the sand, don't you? And you stick to it, and away it goes. And it's midweek, and it's good. I love, that people go out on weather like this on a Wednesday night and go and you can pack out a bar. It's pretty rare to see it around New Zealand. So it's nice we're doing it. It kind of happened.
And what else are students up to?
Well, that's right. On a Wednesday night, studying, I suspect. I'm not too sure. So it's cool. It's gone well. And what I noticed actually, after the first year, it was good. We didn't really know what was going to happen in 2022. But what I noticed in 2022 for Dig the Gig University of Canterbury here was there were a lot more females coming out to the shows, which was great. Where the girls are, the guys always seem to be. So it kind of had this lovely sort of, flow-on effect. And the third year was the same as well. So it's starting to, get a nice little vibe / movement going. But the music's amazing, which is the most.
So all genres, you're getting
all genres, Solo artists, we get. There's an amazing guy called Cam Giddens who's actually he's been amazing. He's a solo bass player, sensational artist. He's been pretty cool. We had in the first year a drum and bass DJ guy who was incredible, to all sorts of jazz to rock. The criteria is really simple. One person from the university has to be enrolled at that university.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're, you don't. Everyone doesn't have to be from the university. Just one person.
Yeah.
And then you just got to play 3 songs, two originals and a cover, and they're pretty much the rules. So it's pretty easy.
2 songs, an original and a cover. Sweet.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it works quite well.
So and how many times would they play? Like how many would a band be expected to play, say, in Christchurch?
Well, you've got your heat.
3 or 4.
There's normally 3 or 4 heats. If you win your heat, you go through the semis. You'll play the semis, and then you play the finals. So you'll play 3 shows if you make it through to the finals. And I also have wild cards as well. So something we brought in from the get go. And the wild cards are bands that didn't make it through to the finals or didn't win their heats but should have. They may not have brought the fans. A lot of people don't understand the concept. So what I do is when we get to the semi-finals, I kind of pick wildcard bands, and that kind of stacks up the semis, which is great, and it gives some underdogs a chance to bring their fans and strut their stuff.
Yeah, because you don't want a popularity contest, but but it sounds like the bands are totally deserving. Like they're there for a reason, right?
Yeah,
and they probably are popular for a reason.
Yes.
Yeah,
they certainly are.
Yeah. Oh, sweet, man.
Yeah.
So, and the prize packs, they resonated with me as well.
Yeah, there's some goodies.
There was the $200 worth of secondhand clothing, like the recycle
boutique. Yeah, they've been a massive
vintage.
They've been a big support big sponsor from the start. They've been amazing. They also do the Recycle Boutique Music Video Award for Wellington and Auckland, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Sal's Pizza have been great. They're back on for the finals this year, which is good. But Nick's been great. Every band got a $200 voucher. Plus free sales at every show throughout New Zealand, which was amazing. We have the Scenic Hotel on board this year. They've got some amazing prizes. For Auckland, they're giving the band that wins a chance to write their jingle for them and pay them $3,000. So that's Scenic Hotel. So that's pretty cool. You've got Snackachangi came on board. The band that wins across all the shows gets a free supply of chips for the year. That sort of stuff. Platypus shoes are on board this year. So every band that registers and performs gets a pair of shoes.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I mean, you don't have to be the winner in that case, but just anyone that even can.
That's right. That's dead right. And Radio Hauraki are on board this year, and at the finals, they're sending a scout in to each final, and they're going to choose their band that they want to promote.
Yeah,
and that may not be the winning band. So that's been really cool. They've just sort of started promoting it on the radio now, which is great. Rhythm and Alps have been amazing. Al Turnbull, the owner there and the promoter here in New Zealand, he arrives at the show and chooses a band that he puts on the arena stage at Rhythm and Alps.
It sounds
at the end of the year.
It sounds like, Matt, that we were missing something like this. Like we needed something like this. There was previously we lacked a little bit of love. We didn't have much love for the thing, but it sounds like this is an opportunity for brands and corporate sort of sponsorship, like the Rock Shop I saw and stuff like that, to show those people, like to encourage them. And
that's right. I think. Look, it's as you know, Rock West has been around a long time, and it's been quite amazing. That's the high school band competition, which is incredible. So there's a really good model to be proud of and inspired by. So obviously the students, no one's really gone and nurtured them and given them some opportunities off campus, which is what I wanted to do. And I also think it's really powerful for a brand to get their brand into the hearts, souls and minds of students and locals off campus in an intimate sort of live show experience. So that was part of the excitement as well when I launched Dig the Gig, was to create those offerings.
Yeah, that's cool.
But first and foremost, it's been about the music, and really it's organically grown by the fans and the bands. I've just sort of connected and facilitated it.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. The thing I love about, we launched Auckland last year, Dig the Gig, University of Auckland, a big venue called Galatos. just up and behind K Road there. It was a big venue, but we had about 15 bands that registered, and that was a great comp, and we ended up, everything went extremely well, but the bands at the end of each heat would come up and just be so excited about, A, being able to play at Galatos, because they'd never played there before, but B, meeting all these bands in their own universities that they never knew, didn't know existed. Yep. So you're connecting all these cool bands together. Now they're touring together, doing lots of cool things, and that's the most important thing. Is just opening doors up, lines of communication. Showing these guys some love and helping them out where we can. I think it's really important. So, and it's working. Well, like I say, it's organic.
Yeah,
we're just facilitating it and creating the opportunities. Major have come on board 2 years ago. They've been a massive help to obviously they put some money in, and that enables the shows to happen. And for the photographers and the venues, I can pay. They get a venue fee, and so it's actually just been working out really well, especially in these sort of hard times over the last few years.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, because COVID hit everywhere. Do you think that affected like university bands and bands just starting off, like the lockdowns? Or I know because Christchurch going through those quakes and kind of losing so much, I often wondered what happened to that generation of kids. There was one woman we had on here, Bianca Smeeks. The earthquake hit the first day of her day, like at university. It was her first day at university, and the earthquakes hit, and it just kind of threw her world into a bit of a tailspin.
Yeah.
And I can imagine there was so much aspects of the Christchurch culture in particular that just no longer kind of had a home or a grounding kind of place.
Sure.
But students are pretty resourceful, I suppose. I guess they just figured stuff out. And
I think they would have.
We don't have earthquake rock or anything. That's kind of some weird genre that's sprung up.
No, we don't. But travelling around the four cities with Dig the Gig over the last few years, what is very, what does come to mind is we do have a lack of venues. There's some issues in Dunedin right now. The bands don't have a lot of places to play. It is quite the same in Christchurch. So there is a bit of that stuff going on. I think student bands they're clever. A lot of people nowadays too. Another reason why I wanted to start Dig the Gig was you get a lot of bands or artists that with social media, with Instagram nowadays, a lot of them don't probably think they need to go out and play because they seem to have this online following and they can just sort of do everything online, and they're missing the live show aspect. So that is, and I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I do think it's important to get out and play live shows and create that real fan base. COVID threw everybody, especially the bands and the artists, and but look, it's nice to know that they've got some places to play. Yeah.
It's
getting better out there.
Oh, that's good. That's good to hear. Yeah, I know. Yeah, some different locations in Christchurch have sort of shut down in recent years.
Yeah,
tried to make a go of it, and it hasn't kind of worked.
No.
Yeah, that must be tough. But it's sort of widespread in other areas of hospitality as well.
Sure.
Yeah, it's tough.
You gotta what goes up comes down and vice versa, isn't it? You just gotta roll the punches. And
so tell me a little bit about your own musical career. What instruments do you play?
I play the drums. It's about as far as I go.
Oh, sweet. We're having Elliot on here from Teal Sky.
Oh, good. Cool.
In a couple of weeks.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to talking to him.
Yeah, they're a good band.
Yeah. So did you just start off in like bands and then?
I did. Yeah, I did really. I got into the drums when I was about 5. Long time ago now. But
how did that happen? Was your father into it? Or
he played the trumpet actually. He kind of wasn't. Wouldn't say he was a musician, but I remember watching That's Country when I was a kid back in the 70s, so probably well before your time.
Yeah.
And fell in love with the drum kit on TV, you
Yeah.
know, on Saturday nights with That's Country, which was quite a cool country show that they used to, you know, film here at the town hall, I think. So I remember seeing that, falling in love with the drums, and the rest was really history. And got into had a few bands at school, and then got into a band in the 90s, and we did a bit of travelling around the world and had some fun. Did it professionally for a few years, and now it's really just a hobby.
Yeah.
But it's still nice to be able to play, and playing quite a bit actually, which is good. Yeah.
Yeah. Excuse my ignorance, but what was the band? Because I didn't delve into your past. I didn't stalk you as much as I should have.
Well, a band that you wouldn't actually know. I mean, there was stuff. Been a couple of bands. One band was called Wild Turkey, and we did some stuff here in Christchurch for many years. Did a bit of touring. Based in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Then we went to France, which was a bit of fun. And then a couple of other bands. A band called D-Magnet back in the sort of late 90s in Christchurch. We had a lot of... They were a pretty exciting bunch of guys, and we did a lot of support acts for local touring bands. And, back in the 90s, late 90s, when things were going pretty well.
Yeah.
Lots of great bands. Back in the good old days with Garage Land and Head Like a Hole, and
True.
Some pretty cool. Weta was just sort of kicking off back then, and some really good stuff that we were supporting. And nowadays I'm in a band called Konkane. We're a local band in Christchurch. A 5-piece original band. And we get out and play a little bit. We do a lot of recording.
That's an interesting name.
Konkane, with meat, yeah.
Is it?
That's what it is.
Is it? Oh, classic.
Yeah. So no, but it's been fun. It's a hobby nowadays, of course, but it's nice to, obviously music's pretty medicinal, and we're lucky to be able to play it and listen to it as well.
Yeah.
Listening's just as powerful.
Yeah, man.
Do you play an instrument?
Look, I started off with drums as a young fella, and my parents got us into classical music, so I was, we all started off on the recorder, then we progressed. I picked up the French horn and the drums, or percussion, and I was taught by a guy called Tom Williams in Christchurch, who was, percussionist, and that was good, but I kind of dropped it when I was a teenager. I went off the rails, Matt, and I got into drugs and dance parties.
Oh, wow. Yeah, there you go.
So I went into electronica music, kind of,
right.
and I never got into performing it or DJing it or anything.
Right.
I was more just a avid listener, shall we say.
And that was quite a good scene back in Christchurch.
It was,
wasn't
yeah.
it?
Look,
there were some big
95 and
big
stuff.
clubs around
That's
here.
Right. Yeah, we're just opposite the ministry.
That's
right.
That's
so,
right. Yeah.
That was kind of what I, was into, and I missed. Admittedly, I missed a lot of the band scene that was happening. Kind of the last gig I went to was the Shins in Christchurch.
Yep.
So
that would have been a wee while ago.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but I felt like I'd kind of grown up by then. Yeah.
But that was the cool thing about Christchurch back in the day, where there was a great dance scene. There was a good punk scene going on. There was all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
It didn't really matter what you're into. It was there.
Yeah.
And everyone just got left to hang out in their own lane. Yeah. Which was cool.
Yep. Yeah, that's right.
No one had an issue with you being into dance music and me being into rock bands.
No, that's right.
It was great.
And I recall some of the early dance parties and stuff, held at Quadrophenia and stuff. There were punks that were going along to those gigs because the style of music was, it was hardcore and different things like this. It was it was kind of that sort of style of energy, Yeah. So...
it's been a great city for music. It really has, and it will continue to be that. It's only, I think, it's only going to get better. And by the sounds of it, some interesting, conversations about new music venues in the city here, and I think it's going to, I think over the next 5 years, we're going to see some cool stuff happening.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
In the world of live music. So that's exciting.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm totally thinking of coming along. Milton, are you keen to go along to the final on Wednesday
night
at the Rolling Stone?
The Rolling Stone.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. It's just on Colombo Street, a couple of blocks away.
Yeah, I know. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, you do?
No, you definitely should be there, Milton. You'll enjoy that. It's quite a night.
Oh, I will go, and I'll enjoy that. I love listening to music. I don't play anything, but I listen to music all the time at home.
Yeah.
I'll get the lyrics up. Like, I really need to know what the lyrics are to make it meaningful for me.
Yeah.
Oh, well, mate.
Good.
Tell Matt about that lyric the other day that we found out. The Pink Floyd song.
Oh, that's that Pink Floyd song, One of These Days.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And there's one line in the whole song.
Right.
and the line is, and it's all distorted. You can hardly understand it.
Yeah.
The line is, one of these days I'm going to cut you into little pieces.
That's right.
And for years I had no idea what that lyric was.
I know.
Right.
Spotify has
But on
revolutionised
Spotify, I looked it up, and there's just this one line sitting there.
Wow.
So that was a bit of a revelation for me.
Yeah.
Bit of a life changer.
It's good.
Oh, that was nice just to tick that little box off.
God, yeah. There was actually a band, funny enough, talking about Pink Floyd, there was a band in Auckland last year that played a Pink Floyd cover as one of their covers for that, which was quite amazing to see a university band play a Pink Floyd cover so well. I can't actually bloody remember which one it was, but it was pretty cool. But yeah, nice to hear it.
Yeah, I saw on one of the bands, might have been a Dunedin band, in one of the heats. I think they played an ABBA song.
Yeah, they did, and it's dead right. Yeah, they did. Yeah, we had an ABBA song. It was cool. It was amazing.
Yeah.
I
remember that album absolutely, where the Kiwi bands all got together and did ABBA.
Tribute thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It was Kiwi bands, Breast Secreting Cake, all of those guys.
You haven't thought of doing a little sort of like a tiny music desk thing in here with some bands?
Yeah, like Teal Sky, Bex, and the guys. You're certainly welcome, and look, we can have anyone. It's such a small space.
Well, you don't need too much, do you?
Yeah, and we thought about a DJ and stuff. I would be more than keen to offer this location up to anyone that wants to play in here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you'd get a band in here.
Sweet.
Quite easily.
So that final was tomorrow night?
No, next Wednesday.
Oh, it's next Wednesday?
Yeah. July 10th.
That's
right.
which
is good, but you guys should definitely come. There'll be a couple of free Steinlagers there for you if you like a cold sherbet. Hey, so,
I had to look up Major.
Yeah, right, there you go.
I was like, who the hell's Major? And it's an RTD, right?
That's right. The Asahi Brew Company is behind. Yeah, it's an RTD. Obviously, lots of them on the market, but they've been around. They came out a few years ago and actually got in touch and wanted to tap into the university audience, which has been great. And we've opened the doors, getting their product into the venues that I use around New Zealand. Yep. So they've been good. The contract ends at the end of September, so who knows what'll happen? But look, it's been fun, and they've been good to deal with.
Yeah. Cool.
I was reading up about the whiskies, the RTDs whiskies.
Yeah.
They're going to sounded nice.
Yeah, the whiskey is good. The whiskey is nice, actually. Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah. I'm not really a vodka drinker, but the whiskey is good. The Major whiskey.
And that name Major, I've just been reading a book, old as book called Catch-22.
Oh yeah.
And it's a satire about war. Mm-hmm. I think it was written by a guy who'd been in World War II. Yeah, he'd flown in some of the plane, like the flying fortresses and that sort of thing. But one of his epistate military names that he used in the book was Major. Right. It was the name of the guy.
Yeah.
So his name was... But I was wondering... that just
could be.
It's like, where did those guys get that name from?
Well,
not necessarily, but that just clicked that little box in my head.
Yeah, I haven't asked actually, but I probably should. Be interesting to see where it did come from. Yeah, but it's a nice product. It's all right. It's pretty good.
Yeah, for sure.
Pretty good. Quenching.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, nice one.
But
And
sorry, Dave, you go, mate.
no, I was just going to switch on to the Whiskey A Go Go Club. But,
Yeah.
Yeah, flip over.
Yeah. Yes.
Tell us about that. Like, do you know anyone like actually there, or just more in the general scene, music scene in LA?
I was over there about 2019. We set up a travel consumer-facing travel brand over there, and I got I was spending some time over there, and obviously being into music, I got onto Sunset Strip there, and went and saw some good shows at the Rainbow Bar and Grill. Not that there were shows there, but it was good to go in there. And next door to that was the Roxy, and you got Whiskey A Go Go. So I just made some connections really, and and then when I came back here, it was a bit of I always wanted to create a prize or an opportunity that we could get a band over there. So that was how that came to be. And the Whiskey A Go Go is pretty cool. There's a great guy called Tyler who I deal with there, and he's been incredible to work with, and get Pool House over there, and they had a great show, and they do things quite differently over there with their bookings. Bands have to. You've got the Whiskey A Go Go. There'll be 4 bands that could play on a given night. Mm-hmm. So the earlier you're on, the cheaper it is. So what happens is if you're a band, you have to pay the promoter a deposit.
Yep.
And then you'll set a task as a band, depending on what time you're on stage, to sell X amount of tickets. So if you sell your tickets, you'll get your deposit back, and you might make some money. So cool. It's actually quite a nice way of doing it for the venue, because they sort of, they cover their costs, and it's up to the band to sell tickets.
Yeah.
So that's quite a cool model, which I haven't seen. Certainly haven't seen it in New Zealand, but that's how that works. But it's a really exciting part of LA, especially if you're into live music, and a lot of history and that sort of stuff. So so that's sort of how that came to be and why it came to be. And it's 10 hours. It's not too far, but I think the relationships that these bands will forge when they go and play in places like that, I think are really, are kind of you are just priceless, really.
Yeah, I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole and started looking at Pool House.
Yes.
And looking at then the people they played with, and just kind of. They looked pretty laid back and casual kind of artists that they were playing with and stuff as well.
Yeah, I think it was a bit
and
of
that vibe. Looked kind of unique. But America is so massive, and there's just it would be impossible to say what's happening in LA. Is there a particular kind of flavour going on or whatever? But I mean, there's just so much, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But Pool House were perfect, actually. Of course, they won in 2022. The UC comp here did very well. Brought their fans. They are, good gentlemen on and off stage. So they were the perfect ambassadors, I think, to go over there and do that trip for the first time.
Yeah.
And good musicians. They're kind of a surf pop band,
Yeah.
Very, very clever musicians. Write good songs. Laid back dudes. But they were great to fly the flag for Dig the Gig and New Zealanders in LA. I think for the first show.
Yeah,
I think they're off to Mexico now. They're kind of doing a bit of a whirlwind tour out of it.
Cool.
So which is great.
That's great. They're just going with the flow.
That's right. I think they come back sort of early August, and but look, it's great. It's really, really exciting. It's a great prize. So we're looking forward to seeing who wins it this year. For the grand final, which we haven't decided on a location yet. Funnily enough, a venue.
Oh, okay.
Yet. So we're just sort of because the event's live streamed. You see.
Yeah.
So people will vote online.
And how many? What kind of location are you looking for? How many people are you?
Well, that's the thing. It's we're just sort of in conversations at the moment, but because the Dig the Gig is it's about decibel meter at the live shows. Yeah. Obviously, with this, when you've got bands, so there'll be a band from Dunedin.
Like there'll be a hometown. Yeah.
There'll be a hometown every year. First year it's going to be here in Christchurch.
Yep.
So it's going to be hard to do the decibel meter reading thing. So what we're going to do is voting online.
Oh, cool.
So you got to register. We'll start promoting that soon. You register, and then you can watch the gig live wherever you may be. So that's how that's going to roll.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a different format.
Well, otherwise, the hometown would have too much of an advantage.
Well, that's right. Yeah. So but I'm not too sure. We're just going through the motions now, and it could be. Who knows? It might be a
what kind of capacity? Like 1,000?
It doesn't really. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
No.
But I think the way I'm leaning is that it could be best, played at the universities, at one of the, on campus for the nationwide show, and we do a different one each year. So the next year it'll be Otago, year after that it'll be Auckland, and then Wellington, and all the universities do have wonderful, the Noamage Theatre at UC is pretty amazing. So who knows what'll happen? I'm just getting into those conversations, kind of this week and next, which is all good.
So what's your advice for bands? Like, how do they? What kind of have you noticed that the bands that win? What do they do well?
I think just any band that wants to, especially band competitions, which we've all been in them over the years. I think just registering and playing is the first step. Really, that's the key. I think playing live in general, no matter where you are in front of how many people, it doesn't matter. Play live. That's my advice to the bands. And there's, I'm dealing with a heap nowadays, which is great. But play live, many gigs as you can. Try and play at least twice a month live, if you can. I know it's hard these days. There's no money in it. Because of the interesting times, bands.
The economy.
No one, bars can't afford a 4 or 5 piece band nowadays.
No.
But you still got to go out and find those venues and play live. It's the only way you get good, and practice. But once again, it's we don't have practice rooms. Well, we do, but things are quite expensive here as well for bands to practice. But my advice is just to get out and play as much as you can. Just play, because that's how you get good, and that's how you get a following.
Yeah.
And just I think that's the only way to be able to do it. Bands are so savvy now, as we talked about before, online and Instagram, and they've got their own followings. That's great, but you've got to go out there and actually get good as a band, and that's doing the hard yards. And
that's kind of true as an individual as well with social media.
Yeah. And same as, I guess, making coffee and nice cuisine. You got to do it.
Exactly.
You got to burn a few things. You got to break some stuff.
Well, you can do it in the garage for a while.
Yeah.
Make the coffee in the garage for a while. But,
sure.
There's the point you got to get out there.
That's right. You got to do it.
Yep.
You got to get liquid on lips. And
how high does that decibel?
Yeah.
How high does that go?
Goes pretty high. The record we've had is about 106.5. decibel meter reading, so which is quite a bit. It's the initial punch too. It's not not a big long thing, but it's not the long noise. It's that first thing, but it does get up there, as you'll see next Wednesday night. It's quite a unique, and that all happens at the end of the night. So it's not when a band finishes their 3-song set.
Yeah.
So everyone has to wait around to the end of the night.
Yeah.
Whether you, your band is first, second, or third or fourth. So
man, you must have had some pretty close calls at times.
We had a tie in Dunedin last for Heat 3. The Beatniks and Cruise Control, 2 friggin' amazing bands. They had a tie. They had about 105.2. We had it in Christchurch for the final with This Dog and Castaway. And back then we didn't really know what to do. But Liam Donnelly, the host with the most, we just decided to get them back up to play another song.
Yeah.
So we did that again, but now it's we've sort of worked it out a bit. It's a bit easier, but so it does. We do have some exciting moments with the decibel meter reading, and next year, actually, funny enough, I'm introducing a character because I've been doing the decibel meter reading. I travel around the country with it. I'm sort of on the wrong side of 50 now, and I can find a better character person. So we've got Dame Decibel, and it's a female who's going to be running the decibel meter, and she's quite a unique character, and she'll be quite a big part of the evening.
Yeah.
So, which is good. It's just evolving and making the experience a bit better for the fans and the locals. So, decibel meter is pretty cool.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
I love those moments when it's like, holy shit, it's like, 105.2.
Yeah.
Like both of you guys.
Yeah, I know.
That's insane.
Yeah. It gets quite interesting. There was a really funny time last year, actually, when we launched Dig the Gig, University of Auckland. There was a 5-piece Asian girl band called Bullet Stars, and they were in the first heat at Galatos, and Galatos is quite a big venue. If you've never been there, it's about 500. Big old place, really cool. A lot of history. Anyway, Bullet Stars got on the stage, 5-piece Asian girls band. They brought a big crowd. They brought a massive following. About 150 people.
Yeah,
so they won their heat. Of course, the decibel meter doesn't lie, right?
No.
They got through. They got through to the semi-finals. They brought their massive crowd. I mean, it was a big, and they ended up getting into the finals, right? And they were an interesting band. I could tell they hadn't, played a lot, which is cool. It was great. They were really interesting. But all the bands, as I said before, that make the finals go into the studio to get a recording. So this is quite a funny story, because when they went into the lab to do their recording, Ollie, who works at the lab up there, an ex-Christchurch guy, I said, give me a ring after you've recorded Bullet Stars. It'd be interesting to see how they go in the studio. But and he said, why is that? I said, they just they're a great band, but I think they're quite new at sort of playing music. And he said, okay. And anyway, next day he gave me a call and said, I said, how did Bullet Stars go? He said, it was the most amazing experience of my recording career. I was going, why? He goes, well, what Bullet Stars didn't tell you at the comp was that when they registered for Dig the Gig, University of Auckland, they were all classically trained musicians on their selected instruments. But when Dig the Gig came, they decided to play instruments that they'd never played before. Yeah. So pretty cool.
That's insane.
Yeah. Amazing little story. And they recorded, and as Ollie said, it was just an amazing experience. It was the first time they'd been in studio, first time they recorded. So there you go, Bullet Stars. They were a wonderful band. Their original song was called Organ Donor, that they recorded, and it's great. It's a good song, and
it's a good title.
A good title,
good
yeah.
One. Yep.
Yeah. So very exciting. But that's the other good thing about what we're doing with Dig the Gig. We're now getting, by the end of this year, we'll have, there'll be probably 20-odd singles we would have, created and recorded for the bands, X amount of music videos.
Yeah.
Getting some really good content.
And there's been some real goosebumps kind of moments throughout that journey.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, totally. And just at the live shows, as you guys will see next Wednesday night. It's quite unique to go out on a Wednesday night anywhere and to a packed bar and listen to some pretty amazing music.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's when I know I'm living a little, when you're out doing stuff.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Man, that's amazing to pick up instruments you never played before.
I know.
What musical accomplishment.
That's
Well,
right.
it's kind of like
Incredible.
it sounds like a blend of like talent or skill and talent and discipline, but then also showmanship, right? They would have had to have embraced that.
Totally.
It's not a huge amount in classical music, I don't think. Don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe there is.
Well,
Maybe if you're the pianist or something.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. But no, very, very. Look, there's some amazing student musicians out there. So it's nice to be uncovering them.
I watched Paul House's video. Was that the first video?
That's right.
they'd done?
Yeah, that was shot.
Yeah, that's cool.
They won that. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That one, it was pretty low key. It was just shot on a farm.
Yeah.
That was really cool. That was very, unpretentious and just lovely.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, it was good. Yeah,
it was in a good way.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty cool. This Dogs was quite cool as well. And we've got Mole Brains videos coming out from last year. Crown, the band who won here in Christchurch last year, their music video is actually being shot over here at Yellow Cross.
Oh, right. So
Which would be cool.
what happens at Yellow Cross? Because
Well, it's just I've sort of taken the space over for
Yeah.
for a bit of time, and I've got it's kind of the Dig the Gig headquarters, and I have our band up there, Konkane, and we put on some, just some live shows every sort of bi-monthly.
Oh, so that's how you happen to come to our cafe.
That's right.
Ah.
That's
Right.
exactly. It's I'm in the hood right across the road there. So yeah, it's been cool. It's really good to be able to use the space, and I think there'll be some good things that'll be happening in time with the guys that own it, and it'll like I say, I think there's some exciting things about to happen with music.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, because the city, it does need time to kind of heal, and we've got some nice new stuff, but we need to kind of fill in those gaps with a lot of kind of gritty, more kind of...
'Cause it's like everything, obviously music goes through cycles, and, it's very specific to New Zealand and technology and all that sort of thing. There's lots of new things to deal with. Like when you said earlier on about activating the video, does that mean like activating it online sort of thing?
That's right. So I give them a set budget, circa $800, $1,000, and we create, some banner ads for them. We get their demographic, their audience, where they want to hit, in New Zealand, or they might choose to, with that budget, promote their video and their song in Melbourne. So we just create a nice little digital roadmap, marketing strategy for them, and activate it for them, which is kind of what I've been doing for a while with marketing and showcasing and capturing New Zealand businesses and brands, which I've been doing for some time now. So it's just to help them out and do that for them, and get them out to an audience that should know about them but don't.
Yeah, that's an awesome skill to have, because there's to expect a band to be able to pull that off is man.
There's a bit of a skill to it, and it's good to help them out with that. So it's kind of important. Just gets things rolling.
When I started looking at Pool House, definitely other bands started coming up on my feed immediately.
Yeah.
Like that have been sponsored little feeds off their singles, I guess.
Yep.
Stuff like that. So
Yeah, no, it's a good wee thing.
So like mentorship is part of this whole gig, right?
Yeah, that's right. So we use there's a guy called Carrie Cordwell who's been around the traps here in music in New Zealand. He's got a company called 212 Music Group. They do a lot of promoting and amazing things and festivals throughout New Zealand and around the world. So Carrie came on board as a mentor. So the band that wins gets, I think, 3 sessions with him, which is great. And that's really just to chat about, it's interesting with the student bands and any band really. A lot of them, of course, don't think about having a band agreement,
Right.
Going to a lawyer and getting a band agreement made. It's a simple thing, but of course it's circa $1,500. It's a lot of money, isn't it? You don't really want it, and no one thinks when you get into a band that you're going to break up and you're going to fall out, and no one probably thinks, well, we're going to get that number one hit and everything's going to be fine. So that's a lot of that. We're getting into the minds of the bands and saying, hey, get those foundations in place.
Mate, what is the band agreement?
Band agreement really is sorting out who owns the songs. Who are you, if you're a 4-piece band, as the singer getting all the royalties, or are you splitting it 4 ways? If you've come up with a melody or a hook or a bridge, are you getting paid for that? Every band has a different, a different take on it. So it's really down to the individuals, and that's and we're just encouraging bands to do it. Just get an agreement put in place, because you just protect yourself.
Yeah.
Whatever your agreement is, you'll agree on it, and you've done it.
Yeah.
And it's important. A lot of bands don't do it, and of course, it's all over.
Well, it's kind of like a team sport, right? It is a team sport, but there's a lot of kind of anti-establishment guys who are coming together to create that band in the first place.
That's right. Yeah.
So they're probably wrestling you know,
Yeah.
with that creativity thing and their independence and their, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot of individual moments in
Yeah,
bands.
that's
and
what makes a band.
I don't write songs, I just play the drums. We're fortunate in our band that we decided to, the four of us are equal in what we do, which is lucky for me because I don't write songs. I don't bring them to the table. I just do very little really apart from play the drums. So, but every band's different, you know. You know, but it's really important to have the conversations with these bands because they just don't even think about a band agreement. It's miles away. We don't need one of those. We're okay, but kind of everyone does.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be a little bit gauche to be like, you know, dealing with the business side of things, which can be, not an appealing thing, perhaps.
No,
You know,
not. I think it's the last thing you want to deal with when you're a 21-year-old or an 18-year-old in a band.
Yeah.
It's the last thing you want to do.
Yeah.
But it's good to, you know, sow the seed early. So that's kind of what's going on with the mentoring. Getting bands sorted out with Spotify, you know.
Yeah.
Getting their YouTube channel sorted out.
Yep.
Just little things like this that you sort
Yeah.
of, you think is easy and it should be plain sailing, but
Yeah.
they don't.
No,
they
I'm,
don't do it.
I'm still struggling all that type of thing. I'm still kind of pulling it together.
Yeah.
This is a YouTube channel, and you know it's called a podcast, but it's actually not technically. But I do need to get the audio on Spotify and what have you. But it's difficult. Like there's life, you know. There's all this other stuff.
That's
going
right.
on.
Yeah, totally. But important things, especially, you know, in the world of, when you're writing songs and just ticking those boxes to be set up for, you know, connecting with the audience that should know about you but don't.
Yeah.
You
So
know.
the gig next Wednesday is 7. I've got it here.
Yeah, doors open at
7
6:30.
6:30, yep.
Yeah, free sales pizza from 7, which is all good. House band's on about 7:30, give or take, and then we rip into the bands. Crown, who won last year, I always bring the band back who won. They'll play a special
cool.
guest set,
Yep.
which is cool. And the rest really is just be a hell of a final.
Yeah.
Who knows who will win, but the winner this year will go into that nationwide grand final, which is amazing. So, you know, and have a chance to go to LA, so,
Yeah.
which is really cool.
So you're recommending people turn up early
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
make sure,
Yeah.
because there is a limit, right?
There is a limit, yeah.
Yeah.
There is. And in previous years, or every year, there's been queues out onto Colombo Street. So
Yeah.
Bro, I'll get there early.
We'll get there early.
I wanna get some-
we're like,
get some sales pizza.
I want to get some of that pizza.
Yeah, get some sales. It's good pizza.
That's strong motivation. For
Yeah, it's, no, it's pretty good. Another little sponsor plug here we've had on this year. A new sponsor, a great brand called Reburger. You guys familiar with the Reburger?
no.
There's a couple of stores here in Christchurch, one in Hornby, one in Rolleston, but you got to go and get a Reburger. Pretty
Ooh,
good.
cool.
Oh, we love our burgers.
Go to Reburger. Amazing. Yeah. So Dunedin guy who's done very, very well, got lots of restaurants around New Zealand now, just burger chains. Reburger's pretty cool. So I'm not sure if there's going to be any at this show on Wednesday, but definitely check out Reburger.
Yeah, bro, we will.
But so it should be a good night. And the 4 bands are amazing, and all should be in the final, which is good. It's nice that it works out that way.
Yeah.
You know, but
Cool.
but all the bands have been amazing anyway. So and lots of new bands this year, which is cool.
I was excited when I learned that the Dunedin University is in on the job now.
That's right. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, it's the interesting thing with Dig the Gig is I work with a lot of the student associations, which is really cool. The universities don't really have a lot to do with me at this stage. I think that's going to change now with the Dig the Gig nationwide final, because we want to make sure all the students from the varsities get behind their band at the nationwide final for the live stream.
Yeah.
So historically speaking, I just work with the students' associations, which has been really cool, and they've let me come in and put posters up, and their support's amazing because it does save a lot of.
Back in the day, it's often like a style that came out of Dunedin. Does that still exist?
The Dunedin sound, it does. It really does. It is quite unique. It's quite cool. Like I say, we've had 22 bands that registered, and that I've witnessed over the last 6 weeks in Dunedin every second Wednesday. semi-finals on July 17. There's 8 bands in it, and they're amazing. And mostly 5 and 6 piece bands. You don't get a lot of 3 pieces or 4 pieces. They're, you know, it was actually similar in Wellington last year. The bands were, you know, a couple of quite meaty keyboard players, and you know they're quite different, quite unique. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Cool.
I was going to say it smells pretty good over there, Milton. What are you? What have you made?
They are our chocolate pumpkin muffins.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, we make those every day.
Nice.
Here's the menu, Matt.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
It smells pretty good.
And the old cheese scones are about to go in.
Beautiful.
It's got chuck some parmesan on the top.
Yeah, man. We actually have a item on the menu which I've just put on called the Dirty Carnivore, which is just bacon and eggs, like 4 eggs, 4 bacon,
Beautiful.
hollandaise.
Beautiful.
Harking back to your the name of your band.
Yes, yeah, of course. Yeah, con carne. Yeah. Well, we need to get our con carne hot sauce in here.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. Well, we don't sell t-shirts. We sell hot sauce.
Sweet.
So-
Who makes that?
Well, Dave, Digital Dave, we call him in the band. He's the bass player. He's a
maker.
bit of a whiz chef, and it was his auntie's recipe from Trinidad. So it's pretty Scotch bonnet hot sauce. It's not too hot, but it's amazing. I will bring a couple of bottles in for you guys to
please do.
sample. It's pretty nice,
Yeah,
and
man.
great on
I'd love
eggs.
to try that.
Great on your pizza. You guys would love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we could get some on the shelf, that'd be cool. We'll
mate.
just retail it.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So we just, like I say, we don't sell t-shirts. We sell hot sauce. There's a QR code on it which will take you through to the music. So the way I sell it is, if you don't like the music, you're going to like the sauce. If you don't like the sauce, you're probably going to like the music. So we've covered our bases.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah.
If you don't like any of it,
Yeah, you'll like one of the. I think
Go to the band competition.
yeah, just
go to
wait.
go to do the gig.
No, we'll look forward to that. Try and source
absolutely.
out.
Oh, God, yeah. No, I'll bring some in for you.
Yeah, cheers,
Cool.
bro.
Yeah.
Hey, cheers, Matt. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you, Pilgrim. Thank you, guys. It's been
Thanks,
pleasure
mate.
to meet you all. And amazing that you've had a swim out at New Brighton this morning, Milton. That's incredible. Holy shit.
Yeah, I just thought I would have a kind of stupid, but I thought I'd just see if I could discipline myself for a couple of weeks.
Incredible.
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting thing to do.
Oh,
The whole
Jesus.
mind-body dynamic.
Yeah.
Dave and I, we did the midwinter swim. I think it was last week.
Yeah, right.
In Sumner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a group that does it regularly every week or something like that.
there
But
is.
yeah, every day for a month is next level. Milton. It is impressive.
Yeah, but it's pretty shitty out there.
Well, it would have been pitch black, too.
Oh, mate, it's still pitch black.
It's still pitch black.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Pissing
2
down.
hours ago, and it's still pitch black now. So, yeah, it's definitely pitch black.
Yeah, no. Well, no, but hey, well, thanks for having me, and keep up the good work. Don't go changing.
Thanks,
Yeah,
mate.
cool.
Likewise.
Good stuff.
Cheers.
Cheers.